And hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn a Trade. I am your host, Kevin Tate, and today's broadcast is called Lancer FS-30 Fountain Soda Diagram Overview. So, what you are seeing now is this is an actual FS-30 fountain soda machine. I just wanted you to, I wanted to highlight this image here so you could see the front and kind of get an idea once I move into the diagram section. But just to give you a general idea, we went over this a couple of times in some other videos. um, but this one here, I think we'll be able to get a little more in depth. So hopefully you can sit back, relax, take a few notes, and hopefully this is useful to you. So, like I said, we have the FS-30 fountain soda machine. This unit here has four nozzle assemblies right down here. And these nozzles each have their own four flavor dispense head. So each nozzle will dispense four flavors. And the nozzles are numbered a certain way on these FS-30 units. They're numbered from right to left instead of left to right. So we have right here. Let me see. Give me a second. Let me see if I can do a markup to kind of let you see it a little better. All right. So I think I got it. Right here, this section here is your valve number one. Right next to it, you have valve number two. And then right here, you have your ice chute. This is your ice chute assembly right here. This is where the ice is dispensed from. The customer will place their cup right on the lever and press back, and the ice will dispense into the cup. Then right here you have valve number three. And right here you have valve number four. So now what I'm going to do is, let me just show you this right here. These buttons that you see down here, they're little touch pads on each side. These touch pads here are for handicap access. So if someone's in a wheelchair, they can still uh, get a cup from below, get their ice in the cup, and they can place their cup underneath one of the nozzles. And then these touch pads usually they match up with the flavors here, but they can still use it unless it's disconnected. Sometimes on a lot of these machines, they get disconnected. But if they're connected, this should be easy for handicap access. They can just press the button and then it will dispense the soda or the juice into their cup. And then naturally over here they have splash guards right along this area here. This is just splash plates right here on the ends to keep the beverage from splashing onto the counter. So now I'm going to see if I can go over to the diagram that I wanted to share with you. And then that's where we'll get pretty in depth on how these valves are connected within the machine, um, and how the um, the operation of it, and also the connecting of the lines on these machines. A lot of times we'll have you'll have to do like an install or a removal of a machine, or add new lines to the machine or something like that, and that would all be done in here. And it's easier for you to understand it once you can understand the um, the diagram. And just to let you know, this back plate right here that you see behind everything, this back plate, you're gonna use a screwdriver to push this plate up, and it'll push up and pull out towards you. And then behind there is where you're gonna see all of the lines and stuff that I'm gonna go into on the diagram. So just give me a moment. Let me switch over to that diagram. Okay. Should be up there, and hopefully you can see it good. I'll try to expand it a little bit. I don't I don't want to expand it too much because I want you to be able to see um, where I'm at. I'm going to start down below here. Right down here, this section here are your inlet lines. So these are your inlet lines. And I'm going to go from right to left as far as what line these actually are. Let me just switch over to markup. I'll try to mark it that way you can kind of see it a little better. All right. So right here, we'll start here. This will be the CO2 line. So your CO2 line will connect up right here. And this portion here is the outlet side of this fitting, and it has a line already connected to it that's going to the carbonator, which is inside the machine. Then these lines right here on the very bottom, those are your syrup and your water lines. Right down there, these are all your soda and water lines. And I'm just going to take a moment to see if I can go through that with you. So starting on your far right, right after the CO2 fitting, you're going to have the line for S1, S1-1. And they're already marked like this. So they'll have a little mark on them right in the center there, which will say S1-1. And that S1-1 stands for that numbered valve. That's your far right valve, which is valve S1, and the -1 is for the first flavor on the upper left corner of the fountain machine. Let me just see if I can go back to show you that one. Okay, yeah. So that S1-1 would be right here. This would be that Diet Coke flavor. Okay. And S2, I'm sorry, S1-2 would be the one just below it. That would be the Canada Dry flavor. So S1-3 will be your regular Coke flavor. And S1-4 would be your Sprite. So just to go back over that, you have valve S1, which is right here. And those flavors are broken down into numbers also. So you would have S1-1, S1-2, S1-3, and S1-4. And that's the same with each valve. So you have S2, then you'll have S2-1, S2-2, S2-3, S2-4. And the same with S3. Your S3 valve will be the same. 1, 2, 3, and 4. S4, same thing. S4-1, -2, -3, -4. So that'll give you an idea on what you're putting together as far as the flavors go, because you want to be on point when you're connecting these flavors up. Because if not, that's going to cause a delay in your finishing the work, and it'll bring on frustration. So just remember that. So that's how these lines are ran right here. So what you're going to be doing is you would be connecting what is called whips. So it'll be like 3/8 tubing, 3/8 beverage tubing, and you would measure out about 4 to 5 feet. I'd say just spread it out like arms length, and then cut at the end, and then you would go ahead and connect that line to the S1-1. And you want to be sure to use a permanent marker, a Sharpie of some type, and mark this end S1-1, or you can mark it 1. You can mark it just 1, or you can mark it S1, however you feel comfortable with it, so that you don't lose track of what those lines are. Okay, so you're gonna cut your whip, which is it's just gonna be an extension that's gonna connect to the lines that are coming from the back room, the lines that are coming from the pumps, the rack area, which is in the back. So we're going to focus on what you're connecting all up here on this one. Okay, so just you're going to connect your whip. You're going to mark it S1, number 2. You're going to do another whip S1 2, S1 3, S1 4. Okay, and then you're going to do whips for each valve. This next set of valves are the same thing. They're S2-1, S2-2, S2-3, S2-4. And then next you have your S3 right here. So that's S3-1, S3-2, S3-3, S3-4. Then you have your next set, S4-1, S4-2, S4-3, S4-4. Okay, so that's all of our syrup lines right here. They're all connected, and you have your CO2 connected. Then you come here, this next valve after the S4-4 This next valve is your soda water. Okay, so that's going to be the carbonated water that's coming. That line's going to be coming from the carbonator, but you're going to connect a whip to that this line right here. You're going to connect the whip right there, and then you're going to run that through the counter that the machine is on. It's going to go towards the back, and you're going to connect up to your carbonated line underneath the counter. And then right here, you have your plain water. So this plain water is going to be a plain water line that's just coming right in, and then it's going to connect up, but you're still going to connect a whip to it and run it through, and then you're going to connect that in the back of the machine. All right, so now all of your lines are all connected right here. This is where it all starts. All of your lines, your CO2, your syrups, and then your carbonated water and your plain water. And just to remind you, make sure that you label each of them with those exact numbers. And then label your soda water. You can label that soda water or carb water. And then label this one plain water, PW. You can label it PW for plain water, or you can label your soda water SW for soda water. That way, you're labeling those whips on both sides, and that way you're going to know which line is which. Because once you get going, you can lose track of these. So you want to make sure you have everything labeled. And now let's see if I can boost this up a little bit here. Okay, and then next here you have your other water valves. I'm sorry, your other syrup valves. These are valves that are going to be right on the inside here. These lines, they all connect up to these buttons up here. All right, so they'll function with these buttons. Um, and what these are, like your flavor shots. That's what they're called. So they're for your flavor shots, or um, now lately, a lot of the convenience stores have not been using the flavor shots, but the lines are still available. They're still there. If you ever have a customer that is big on having the flavor shots, that's their prerogative. So if they want the flavor shots, then you can put them in right here. And what these flavor shots are, they're going to be numbered from 1, 2, and 3. Let me see if I can just change this a little bit to mark it up so you can see those. So right here, right in here are your flavor shots. Okay, and that's on each valve. That's right here, right here. They're all in the center row. And right there. Okay, so those are your flavor shot areas right there. And you're going to have those lines available right down here. Okay, so these are all of your flavor shot lines. And it's up to the customer. If they want the flavor shots, then so be it. But you're going to connect up in here, and it's the same thing. You're going to do a whip and run that whip down underneath the machine, under the counter, through the back of the counter, and then connect up to those lines. Um, and these are numbered also. These are numbered 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so you're going to have 4 sets of those. And then this is valve 2 flavor shots, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then so on. So now you're going to have all of these lines down here connected. You're going to have your flavor shot lines connected, and then that's all of the inlet plumbing that you would have done. So hopefully that part of it is clear. And also, just to make it clear, this here is the ice chute assembly. Okay, this is the ice chute assembly on the diagram. You know that panel that I showed you earlier that was on the lower side of the lower portion of the machine that I said you have to pop that off and you'll be able to see all of these lines down here. That this assembly is just above that, so you'll see it all there. But the this is your ice chute assembly. Then right up here, we're going to the this is the valve harness diagram. Okay, this is where the valves mount and the way they mount. Let me see if I could just get a little more. Get it a little closer up so you can see that. Okay, so right in here, this is all of the wiring that you've seen in that picture. So this is like all of your wiring that connects up. Um, and it's telling you like the color code. So when you see that, you're going to be able to see this whole diagram. If you ever have to install one of these, they always have this diagram on that lower panel. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Don't get nervous that you're not going to remember all of this stuff. It'll all come back to you, and then plus you'll have this video to go by. So don't get nervous about that. Back to this harness diagram here. Like I said, you're going to see this on the back of that panel, and then you can just follow it. And you really won't have to connect any of these, but this portion right here is important because when it comes to troubleshooting, you can trace your wires. Okay, so in the diagram, it has the color code on there. It has the color code written on it: brown, black wire going to valve number 1. And this wire goes to valve S1-4. So that would be the far right valve, and then it would be the flavor that's on the bottom right corner, S1-4. So remembering that number system is important, and this will also help you be able to troubleshoot better. Okay, so it has all of the wires color coded. I'll go through some of them just to give you an idea. So it says this first one is brown and black going to S1-4. The red and gray is going to valve 1, and then below it tells you what that valve is for, what that wire is for. It's for the soda 1. So that one is for if someone wants to get soda water, carbonated water, there's a connection in there for that. Now you can activate it through the menu, which we'll go over briefly up here. but you can activate that soda button in one of those center buttons that are used normally for the flavor shots. You can make one of those buttons, preferably the bottom button. You can make that button for soda water. So um, this details it all. So the next you have a red and a black wire going to V1 S1-1. So that would be your flavor for the far right valve, the first flavor, the top left flavor. And then it goes on and it's all color coded. So all you have to do is follow the color code. If you have say if you have a problem with soda water on valve two, okay, that'd be your second one from the right, your second valve from the right. If you had a problem with the soda water, you could open up the panel and then go in and look at the wiring and then find your red and gray wire and then make sure that it's connected where it's supposed to be connected at, which everything's labeled, so you'll be able to just follow that wire and see if it's going to the connection and if it's plugged in good or something like that. But that's just like an example of how you could troubleshoot something like that. All right, so next we had up here, we're going to move up here on your left of your screen. Right here you have your pump, your carb pump. Now this carb pump is located on the bottom section on the left side, the bottom left of the machine. When you take that rear panel off that I showed you, you'll see the carbonator right there. Okay. And then here you have your agitator. This agitator is used to rotate the ice every 20 minutes or so. Sometimes it could be different. Sometimes it's between 20 to 30 minutes, but it'll agitate the ice to keep the ice loose so that it comes out good for the customer. So this agitator motor is located in the center, um, underneath the ice chute area right here. And you'll see it all when you take that rear um, stainless panel off. You'll see all of this. This will all be right under there. Um, and then let's see here. You have the solenoid valve. This solenoid right here. This solenoid, you'll see this behind that panel also. Well, actually up top, it'll be right up here when you open up the front panel that flips open where the valves are. You'll see this this solenoid coil right up in this area of the machine. And what this does is this opens and closes the ice chute door. It opens and closes the door so the ice can, when someone hits their cup on that lever pushes up on a micro switch. This is the little micro switch right here, and that micro switch activates this solenoid to pull open, and it'll open up the ice chute door, and then the ice will pour out. And then right over here you have your sensors, a low ice sensor emitter and a low ice sensor detector. So these are located inside the machine, inside the uh, ice bin area, and it has it's a sensor, and it senses when the ice is low, and it'll it'll activate. But usually you never really run into an issue with these, um, because the ice is always in there, unless there's a problem with the ice maker, and that'll be obvious for you to see once you get to a site that's having an ice issue. And then they have a it even has a light that's on the main circuit board. This is the main circuit board right here. Um, this board, there's a board right over here on your left. This board is your power distribution board. So this board distributes all of the power over to the the main control board. Okay, so right here, when these sensors activate in any way, if there's a problem with ice or something, it will detect it and this light will come on right here. And then over here you have your key switch. This key switch is on the right side of the machine, and there is a key for it. And the customer or the service tech, if the service tech is working on it, he can turn this key. Usually most commercial techs have that key. It's a common key that you use on all of the machines. So usually a service tech will have that key, and they can put their own key in and turn it so that the machine doesn't dispense. And that's if you're doing a PM or some maintenance on it, and you just don't want the customers to be able to dispense product from it at that time. You can shut off the machine, and the machine will stay powered on, but it won't dispense anything. Let's go right here to the probe. This probe right here, this probe detects the water level for the carbonator. Okay, so if the carbonator doesn't have enough water, okay, and the carbonator is strictly sending carbonated water to the machine. So if there's any issues with the water level or anything, the this probe will detect any issues. And then, like, if someone may have cut off the water going to the machine, and after a while, after a few people dispense soda and stuff, they will deplete that water that's left in the carb tank. So when that water depletes, then there's a little float on there, and then that float, when it gets too low, it's gonna shut the machine down from dispensing, and then a carb fault error will come up in the display, which is up here. So when that happens, you'll see the carb fault error. The best thing to do is first go look to make sure that the main water is on, that the water is turned on, that's coming to your soda machine. And it is possible that you could have a defective probe. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. So if that's the case, then you would want to go into removing this probe, which is located on the bottom right corner of the machine. So it's on the lower right corner of the machine, and this you'll only see this section of it on the from underneath that machine. You'll only see this section, and what you'll have to do is you have to unscrew this and then pull it out. But before you do that, you want to make sure that you have turned off all of your CO2 going to the machine and your water. You want to make sure that all of that is shut off, and then you want to make sure you drain the pressure off of the system, just by opening up a valve and until there's no more pressure coming out. You want to make sure that everything is clear like that. Everything's off, because if you don't, you're gonna have a mess. You're gonna have a ton of water that's just gonna pour out on you, and you want to be careful of that. So before you remove any of the any of these probes, you want to make sure that you have everything shut off. And you'll always be able to find that information in the tech technical manual. But I just wanted to inform you on that. And back to this board here. This is your main board, your main control board, and everything's feeding over from, you have your power feeding over to the main board right here. You have these, probably can't see it right. Okay, there. You have these are your four valves. The four valves right here, right down here. They're just displaying them up top to let you know that these valves, they have wires that come off of the back of them, and those wires are going to connect right up in here. So this one here is nozzle one. So you're going to have a wire that's going to plug in to this one for nozzle one. It's going to plug into this next terminal for nozzle two. Then you have nozzle three and nozzle four. So these are where your touch pads. These are the touch pads down here, okay? But this is where your touch pads are going to plug into. So if you ever have a problem, or you have a call where someone's saying that, oh, my valve number two is not, it's not dispensing anything, and when I press the button, nothing happens. You want to check that. You want to check that first. You want to go there, check, make sure that valve two is connected into the terminal, and they screw down, these terminals plug in, and then they have screws on the end of them to screw them down. So you want to make sure that they're in and that they're screwed down, because if they're not screwed down, what can happen is, just from the vibration of the ice machine, or any vibration that the soda machine may be having when the carbonator turns on and off, these can slide out if after a while. So you want to make sure that they're in there and they're secured. Let's see right here. This right here is your resettable breaker. It's basically an on-off switch. So you can go in here, push this button, and it will turn off. Okay, it'll turn off the machine, and press it in again, then it'll turn the machine back on. This is where the power plugs into. The main power cord comes up through the machine and then plugs right in to here. And from there, the power distribution board sends power to the control board, which powers up everything. And so this is, just a basic overview of all of these parts of the schematic. I know it probably was a lot all at once, but it's something you can always go back over. And again, you're going to have service manuals and tech support to help out also. So by all means, I hope this helps you with any calls that you may be having trouble on. And I hope this was useful for you. Please, remember to share, and comment on these videos, and please encourage others to subscribe. we're trying to build this channel and um, trying to give you all some good helpful content. So just kind of help spread the word. I appreciate it. And I hope this helps you. If you had any questions, again, you can leave them in comments or you can email me at info@learnatrade.online. I thank you all again. I appreciate you. May you stay well and be blessed.